Nimasa. A recent report in September 2019 by the Voice of America also shows that Nigeria generates an estimated 32 million tons of solid waste per year, one of the highest in the continent of Africa. Of that figure, plastic constitutes 2.5 million tons. This poses a great danger to the environment and particularly our marine ecosystem.
In her own remarks, the Minister of State for Environment, Mrs. Sharon Ikeazo, sued for synergy among relevant government agencies and the private sector in the fight against environmental pollution. Ikeazo said that the ministry would establish more recycling plants for the collection of plastics and other litter that would be cleared from the oceans.
The Ministry of Environment is coming up with a lot more recycling plants, but we cannot do it in isolation. And I will ask also Nimasa to partner with the private sector in this. You have started right with sensitization of our people on what to do with plastic. So I say that the Ministry of Environment will definitely support Nimasa. We'll take this further and put it together to be a national action plan. Ministry of Environment being the focal ministry for anything environment, be it the sea, land, or air. We'll partner with you and support you in getting this done.
On their part, the Chairman, Senate Committee on Maritime Transport, who was represented by Senator Tolulope Odebi, and the Chairperson, House Committee on Maritime Safety, Education and Administration, Honorable Linda Ikpeazu, and her counterparts in the Environment Committee, all had words that the Nigerian legislature is working on laws to improve on the quality of the Nigerian environment generally.
I can let you know that the Senate is very interested in this cleanup. We are very concerned about it. We see it as a vital economic resource for us in this country, that if we clean our environment, it attracts more kinds of investments into this country, and I can tell you that we're going to do our part, and we're going to work very closely with Nimasa, the Ministry of Environment, and all the other agencies. That's what I just said. I mean, I could have passed the bill next week, but I said I'll forward it to the Honorable Minister for Environment to take a look at, give their input. Let's work holistically so that we have something that is definitely that have more action and is going to have more of a positive outcome at the end of the day.
Environment is everywhere, in the air, in the sea, on the land. Whatever we do, even at our closets, or whether in our factories, whether in the fuel station, how we dispose our engine oil in the mechanic workshop, in our homes, everything that we do, if we don't monitor it and control it, we pollute the environment.
What I'll say is just to encourage Nimasa in what they're doing right now, and of course to throw it open to all of us as Nigerians to realize that we each owe an obligation and a responsibility to do our own bit to make sure that our environment that we live in, because definitely that has an impact on the quality of life that we live, that it's our collective responsibility to make sure that we keep it clean.
After all the speeches, it was time to unveil the Maritime Action Plan for Marine Litter and Plastics Management in Nigeria. The Honorable Minister of State for Transportation, distinguished Senator Gbemi Saraki, was there to do the honors of unveiling the document to the delight of all present. But first, you might ask, what is this document all about? What does it portend for the maritime industry? Well, the head of Marine Environment Department of Nimasa, Dr. Mrs. Felicia Mogo, had this to say about what the Maritime Action Plan is all about. The purpose of the Marine Litter Action Plan is to set a national roadmap to tackle issues of all marine litters, especially the ones arising from shipping-related activities, identify specific actions that need to be taken by different parties to reduce and eliminate marine litter and plastics from our oceans and seas, and strengthen cooperation and collaborations in tackling marine litter and plastics pollution in Nigeria.
Research has shown that 80% of what we have in the ocean, the litter we have in the ocean, they originate from land. So in doing this action plan, we incorporated all, we put into consideration all the activities going on upland that can lead to, that will eventually lead kind of empty inside the ocean. And as we know it, in Nigeria, we can't really say that there is any area that doesn't have sea. All the states in Nigeria have at least one river system, and eventually they interconnect and empty into the ocean. So in consideration of that, we also put organizations, agencies, and major departments that are in charge of environmental protection in such areas.
Dr. Mogo also noted that the action plan will establish a template that monitors progress in the fight against marine litter and plastics in our seas and oceans, and enhance the enforcement of existing laws, conventions, and regulations, and also increase the awareness and understanding of the dangers of marine litter and the need for joint effort to tackle it.
We recognize in Nimasa that there is no way we can tackle this as an agency. We've been talking about partnership. So when we partner, we'll actually be able to eradicate marine litter in Nigeria. It's no rocket science. We have the knowledge, we have the support and everything. We will really be able to achieve it. But what we need is to foster huge partnership.
And then came the high point of the event, which was the unveiling of the document. The Honorable Minister of State for Transportation, distinguished Senator Gbemisola Saraki, who was represented by the Director of Maritime Safety in the Ministry, Dr. Paul Adaliku, led other dignitaries to unveil the document.
Let's get up. Nigeria making progress. Maritime Action Plan for Marine Litter and Plastic Management in the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
A global regulation that will substantially reduce harmful sulfur oxide (SOx) emissions from ships came into effect from 1st January 2020, bringing significant benefits for both human health and the environment. From 1st January 2020, the global upper limit on the sulfur content of ships' fuel oil is now reduced to 0.50% from 3.50%. Known as IMO 2020, the reduced limit is mandatory for all ships operating outside certain designated emission control areas, where the limit is already 0.10%. As a result, reductions are expected in stroke, asthma, lung cancer, cardiovascular, and pulmonary diseases. Cutting sulfur emissions from ships would also help prevent acid rain and ocean acidification, benefiting crops, forests, and aquatic species.
The federal government has embarked on measures to ensure smooth enforcement of the newly enacted anti-piracy law as part of efforts to stem criminality on Nigerian waters. Now, this was revealed in Lagos at the annual Strategic Admiralty Law Seminar organized for judges, put together by the Nigerian Institute of Advanced Legal Studies and, of course, the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa. The theme of the conference was Suppression of Piracy and Other Maritime Offenses SPOMO Act 2019, Key to Accelerating and Achieving Safe and Secure Shipping in Nigeria. President Muhammadu Buhari had signed the Anti-Piracy Act into law on June 24, 2019. The law aims to tackle the menace of piracy and armed robbery on the country's waters, an exclusive economic zone, with a strong and specific legal instrument that prescribes punishments for offenders and deters criminal elements. It is the first standalone anti-piracy law in the Gulf of Guinea region. The act prescribes jail terms of between 15 years and life and fines from 50 million naira to 500 million naira for individuals and corporate organizations convicted for maritime offenses. The seminar is aimed to sensitize stakeholders in the judicial sector on the import of the anti-piracy law. At the instance of the Nigerian Institute of Advanced Legal Studies and the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency Nimasa, stakeholders were informed that a new regime now awaits those who engage in piracy or other maritime crimes on Nigerian waters.
With the signing into law by Mr. President on the 24th of June 2019, the Suppression of Piracy and Other Maritime Offences Act, facilitated by Nimasa, there is now a robust and detailed framework in place for the criminalization and punishment of piracy and other maritime crimes in Nigeria and in the Gulf of Guinea region. This year, we have further enlarged the scope of participation by including law enforcement agencies. In view of the choice of the theme of this year's seminar, which is Suppression of Piracy and Other Maritime Offences, Act 2009, key to accelerating and achieving safe and secure shipping in Nigeria.
On his part, the Director General of the Nigerian Institute for Advanced Legal Studies said, with the Nigerian economy generating more than 70% of seaborne trade in West Africa, the country and region will prosper if the seas were safe for investment and commerce.
Both Nimasa and NIALS are very conscious of the fact that it is a working document, but it is nevertheless a very ambitious, stand-alone instrument for the first time, in the history of the Gulf of Guinea. And it is on that note that both NIALS and Nimasa believe strongly that this year's theme of the seminar must focus on the analysis of the instrument itself. Second, to provide an opportunity for relevant stakeholders, that are justice sector actors in the maritime safety and security environment, to give us actually their own perspectives on how best to implement the instrument. And we believe strongly, as NIALS and Nimasa, that we need a platform to develop an implementation framework or guideline for the relevant justice sector actors in the maritime industry for the best implementation of this instrument.
The seminar was previously meant for judges of the Federal High Court of Appeal and High Courts of the littoral states, but this year, the scope of participation was further enlarged to include law enforcement agencies.
We believe that strongly that by the time we begin to implement this the provision of this instrument, we will also reduce the level of anti-piracy activities and also reduce the level of technicalities that enable sea armed robbers to get away from justice.
The essence of this seminar is for us to collaborate to see how best this seminar this new law can be implemented. It has been identified that aside from the act itself, we need to have an implementation guidelines that will guide all parties, that will ensure that this act is properly implemented. Nigeria secures conviction of this anti-piracy act, and also we can report it to the international community.
The Gulf of Guinea serves as key navigational routes for international commerce, connecting the Far East to countries at the north and south of the Atlantic. Let's join hands to manage and secure our waters. Now that's our package for today. But before we go, let's inform you that some of the vessels for the Deep Blue project have started arriving in Nigeria. Nimasa took delivery of another set of vessels this past week, and it's so enormous because 2 weeks after the minister mentioned that they would be arriving, they are actually coming into Nigeria. It's a welcome development. Thank you for watching Nimasa this week. Why you saw me today is that Cordelia is a little bit under the weather, so please send her your best wishes and be sure that she'll be back on this vessel, sailing every week and informing you about what's happening in the Nigerian maritime industry. My name is Frank Ido. On behalf of Nimasa and the crew that produces this program, thank you enormously for watching, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
The Deep Blue Project essentially is a response to what has become an embarrassment to us as a nation. That is the menace of piracy, of banditry in the maritime environment, the maritime space of Nigeria. So what we seek to do now is to ensure that all these assets are put in place. Once the assets are put in place, we'll carry the fight to these bandits.
The Body Minister is somebody that matches his words with action, and we've just seen it come to play. This is quite convincing to all stakeholders who have been part of this journey since the inception in 2017 to see the reality coming to play. Being proactive and trying to take care of issues that we've put on the ground to ensure that we secure our maritime domain. The arrival of the special mission vessels now testifies to the fact that yes, we are in for business.
For us in the Navy, it is a delight for us to have these vessels around, because we believe they are going to add value to the existing maritime architecture. We therefore salute the vision of the Nimasa in conceiving this project, and we also will continue to appreciate the collaboration between the Nigerian Navy and Nimasa.
Your information dey important just like your identity. Na the only way we fit take hala you o. Make you go browse easy.gotvafrica.com. Sign in with your IUC number and mobile number and scroll down to personal details and address. Then check well to see say everything bam. You fit change the one wey not correct. To finish everything, just click the save button and it don finish.
Thank you. I make sure say my phone number dey correct. That's not why GoTV fit call me make I come collect my own awoof.
Angel, time for my phone in that way because now my correct phone number dey for book.
GoTV, live it, love it.
Now look me again, no. Make you go do your own.
Including hunting by humans. Migration is driven primarily by availability of food. It occurs mainly in the northern hemisphere, where birds are funneled onto specific routes by natural barriers such as the Mediterranean and Caribbean seas. Migration dates back to about 3,000 years. Every year, on the 9th of May, the United Nations celebrate World's Migratory Birds Day to create awareness and promote safety of birds that migrate. During flight, some birds become incapacitated and are unable to continue the flight, which explains why sometimes we wake up to the sight of rare species of birds in our compounds. What are we supposed to do should this happen? Globally speaking, In other parts of the world, value is attached to this species of bird, even though that cannot be said about most African countries, Nigeria inclusive, where these birds are hunted down either for food or sold in the market to make money.
Now we have the menu booklet, please.
Madam, we know they sell book for here. See, our food, see our food.
Like you don't have a menu? So how am I supposed to know what to order for or what to eat?
Who the heck recommended this rat hole of a hooker for you?
Who can you? What do you want? Oh my God! Who is that lousy woman and why are you screaming to the rooftop? Stand up for me and get out! You just said this place is a shower place? Please don't let that. What are you waiting for? Come here! Come! Take out! You didn't hear what?
All persons arriving from China or any country that has a major outbreak is advised, if they have no symptoms at all, to self-isolate, meaning that they stay indoors in their homes for at least 2 weeks. And if they develop any symptoms like cough, catarrh, sneezing, breathing difficulties within this period, to report to the nearest health facility. We're also advising all airlines to report any case of a passenger falling sick on board before the plane lands. That is a requirement in the agreement. Nigeria Port Health Services and Nigeria Center for Disease Control are on alert at our airports and other points of entry.
This is the network service of the NTA.
My name is Balaunti. I'm the Managing Director of Petroleum Product Marketing Company, a subsidiary of NNPC. There are significant price discrepancy between Nigeria and its neighbors across Africa. There's a discrepancy of between 150 to 250 naira. That creates an incentive for arbitrage, whereby smuggling triumphed by taking petroleum products across the neighbors so that they can be sold at higher price. While the smugglers are making the money, Nigeria is paying for it. And that payment is distorting everything that we do in terms of planning, in terms of our ability to fund, and thereby taking money that is meant for development. The introduction of this Operation White will have a reduction of close to 6 million liters on a daily basis, which if you take an average of 150, translates to a saving of over 1 billion naira every day. That is the benefit of Operation White, and we have started seeing the great benefit.
We have 30,364 individual, 6,437 household.
Boko Haram ya koro mu daga garinmu wanda ake cewa Doron Baga.
The government has done a lot of things. Some corporate bodies have also done a lot of things, but there's still a lot to be done.
New digital technologies have thrown up new opportunities for online news gathering, reporting and management. NTA TV College invites online reporters, journalists, public relations practitioners, multimedia producers and freelance reporters to a special 2-week intensive course on intermediate online news reporting skills. Take advantage of the course to upscale your skills in computer-assisted reporting, social media content production strategies, online media platforms for information dissemination and management. Date 2nd to 13th March 2020. Course fee 80,000 naira per participant. Accommodation inclusive. Also running is a special 4-week intensive course on modern trends in broadcast media marketing. It is an essential course for the sales force in the broadcast media, in the public and private sector to sharpen their skills and improve their capacities to deal with contemporary marketing challenges and competitors. Date 16th March to 9th April 2020. Course fee 100,000 naira only per participant. Accommodation inclusive. The venue for both courses is the serene and secure environment of NTA TV College, near Old Government House, Rayfield, Jos. For more inquiries, please call 0803-314-4383 or 0806-980-9807. NTA TV College, Jos, training you to be the best you want to be.
Good evening, and we're glad you could join us. The Ministry of Petroleum Resources is to collaborate with the Ship Owners Association to diversify the Nigerian economy. Very impactful and forward-looking, if you ask me. And there is a job creation bottom line to this, in case you miss it, along with the keeping faith with local content guidelines and the opening of communication channel for seamless synergy. There are other exciting aspects of that engagement. Beyond this, there are very interesting stories that happened in 2019, which made the year get even better rating in terms of oil sector growth. Plus, another strategic engagement which will directly impact on the oil and gas value chain. Gas is on the lineup. And what aspect of gas matter, you may wonder, it's about domestic gas. GMD Military has quoted a double capacity increase of 1.1 to 2.2, and we are talking about billion standard cubic feet. Combating crude oil and petroleum pipeline vandalism is also on the lineup. Interesting times are ahead, and equally interesting stories are in the details. I'm Akinyak Bijule. This is our Gas Forum.
One of the focus of the Petroleum Ministry today is to ensure that there is zero loss in the industry. Our production should get to destination.
The Ship Owners Association of Nigeria, SOAN, led by its president, Dr. McGeorge Onyung, has expressed their readiness to deepen collaboration with the Ministry of Petroleum Resources with the aim of diversifying the economy. Dr. Onyung made this known when he and the leadership of SOAN paid a working visit to the Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Chief Timi Silva, in his office in Abuja. The conversation centered on the need to synergize on building an ecosystem around shipbuilding that can align with global standards while embracing local content guidelines. On his part, Chief Silva encouraged the ship owners team to open a communication channel that will ensure seamless synergy and foster collaborations with the petroleum sector.
Following the unveiling of its range of lubricants late last year, the NNPC Retail Limited, one of the downstream subsidiaries of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation NNPC, has commenced the rollout of its Nitro and Rhino range of engine oils into the market. Group Managing Director of NNPC, Malamele Kyari, disclosed this at the formal launch of the product, which held at International Conference Center in Abuja.
Our own product has come. We are not competing with anyone. Actually, this is the replacement of every product that you have in the market.
Also speaking at the event, Chairman of the NNPC Retail Limited's board and NNPC Chief Operating Officer Gas and Power, Engineer Yusuf Usman, said the idea of NNPC lubricants was conceived long ago.
The entry of NNPC into the lubricant market, be rest assured that we have raised the standard.
On his part, the NNPC Chief Operating Officer Downstream, Engineer Adeyemi Adetunji, said the products were designed to stem the tide of prevalence of substandard engine oils in the Nigerian market.
NNPC is again touching the lives of Nigerians in just another positive way.
Speaking earlier at a pre-launch press conference, Managing Director of NNPC Retail Limited, Sabili Okoye, urged Nigerians to see the Nitro and Rhino range of engine oils as their own.
The NNPC lubricants have been successfully tested and have been certified to be the best in the industry today.